She's been writing music for more than half of her life, and she's only a young thing as well. Svrcina has gained the reputation of a prolific songwriter. She signed her first publishing deal at the age of 13. Bro, can you remember what you were doing? Me and you were doing at 13?
Yeah, I actually turned down a record deal when I was 13. Amazing that she signed on.
Well, I accepted mine, but it didn't go anywhere. Anyway, she's traveled the world. She's worked with dozens of experts, and she's had success upon success, and she joins us now, Svrcina. Good morning and welcome to the show, Svrcina.
Good morning. Those were very generous things to say. It's so wonderful to be with you guys. Thanks for having me.
Okay, straight off the bat, for people who don't know, and Bjorn and I included, can you break down Svrcina, because that's not your original name? Can you tell us what that means and where it come from?
So it's my last name. So it is spelled that way. And only very recently have I heard two people say that the translation, like Svrcina, means pine tree, which I can't find where that's at. But if that's true, that explains why all of the men in my family love the great outdoors. But yeah, it's really spelled Svrcina. And my first name is Molly, so I just go by my last name for all of my artist material.
Got that out of the way. Thank you.
Well, I can relate because my name is Bjorn and I've got a silent J that's right at the smart start of it that trips people up as well. So, hey, I feel you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, most people just say Born.
Or Bjorn.
Or
any mixture of the two.
Bjorn.
Can we hear a bit about your, right from the start, is your origin story like every other a Christian artist? It seems that you were born in Nashville and raised into a Christian family and then just fell into music? Or what's your origin story and your story of faith and getting into music?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, it's not crazy far off the tradition, I guess, of Christian artists, but my family is from the Detroit area. And I did grow up in a Christian home. Obviously, everyone's got a very interesting journey for sure. And yeah, but I would say that my mom was, in particular, made a significant impact on my life, just with her walk with God, and kind of seeing up close, not having a perfect family, even though it was rooted in faith, but her walk with the Lord and her genuineness in seeking his heart made a huge impact in her prayer for sure. So I had an encounter with God at 6 and just invited him in. So I've been walking with him since I've been a young girl and did grow up in church, but there have been significant moments in my life where I really just encountered the presence of God, and kind of wandered a little bit quietly, just with some decision making as a young woman. And sometimes you just gotta figure it out, and that's a little bit messy, but I love the Lord. I did grow up in church, and there was definitely a good foundation there. And yeah, so I wasn't raised in Nashville technically. I mean, I moved when I was 14 with signing a publishing deal. So it was kind of in the music business space, but I was doing country music at the time, which feels slightly random because I'm not doing it now. But I feel like country music is amazing, with the songwriting craft. So I feel like that was a cool foundation too. But yeah.
Hey, listen, if we get time, we can line dance at the end of this together because we got you on Zoom.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, the dancing gift definitely passed my family, but we can give it a go for sure.
First of all, props to Mum for raising an intelligent and articulate young lady in yourself. So props to Mum. But can we go back to when you were 13? And was Mum, I mean, you should have been doing something else rather than getting a publishing deal, really. At 13, I think that's something that's not really heard of. Was Mum responsible for sending the Sky tapes out to everybody, or was that you? Was that all your work?
It was a collaborative effort, I guess. I was very ambitious, I would say. And I just I loved to sing. And at the time, I really loved country music a lot. And so when I was 10, 11, and 12, over the summer, I would sing at fairs and festivals. So didn't play sports or anything like that, but I was going to festivals and fairs and singing to karaoke tracks and eating funnel cake. And so then when I was like 12, 13, there was a woman from kind of from the Nashville area that was doing something with like a songwriting organization in Detroit. So we kind of kept crossing paths over a period of time. And at some point she was just like, you know what, I see a lot of potential in you and would love to just invite you to Nashville and see if songwriting is something that you're interested in. So songwriting was definitely like not on my radar. But God just kept opening some very unconventional doors. And so just as you like walk through one, it just like kind of opened up into this whole other world. So very organically, my family felt like God was opening a door to explore this. And so I would take writing trips back and forth from Detroit to Nashville. And that's really what the spark of everything was. So
yeah,
it's a lot different
Impressive.
now, different vibe now.
Yeah, I got told by somebody who's a big fan of yours who's at our station here, and they were like, oh, ask her about arts and crafts. Ask her about how she gets into that. And I was like, okay, I'll put it out there. What kind of other hobbies do you do outside of like, obviously there's the music, which you love and it is your main thing. Are you involved in anything else that people wouldn't expect to find you doing?
Yeah, the arts and crafts topic for sure. Yes, so I relatively recently picked up sewing, which is
Nice.
like could be considered a very like grandma activity. But yes, I have no grid for that whatsoever. So that's been an interesting journey. But I've been actually for a couple of singles that I released, the last two singles, I've been like hand quilting like pillows. So I've been making pillows and doing some giveaways for people. So the ultimate goal, I genuinely would like love to make clothes and that like look cool and not scary. But yeah, I've got a long way to go on that one. So that's definitely, it's been a nice creative outlet though outside of music, just to do something else entirely. And I feel like that kind of gives an opportunity to refresh creatively in a odd way.
I don't know if there's any other Christian artists or any other artists who actually makes their own merchandise. So, you could chuck that on your website, right?
Well, it's definitely a custom situation, and my output is relatively low at the moment. It's a unique one of a kind kind of deal right now. So we'll see what the future holds. For sure.
We feel, Bjorn and I, on the morning wake up here at Life FM in New Zealand, feel we have we have a responsibility and a blessing. We're actually really blessed to be able to do what we do because we try and connect people with God, right? And you do that with your music. But you must come across people who don't know God yet. So how do you use your platform to be able to bring them to Him?
Yeah, that's amazing. And I mean, it's super cool because we are collaborating together. So thank you guys so much for what you're doing and how you're reaching people. It's really awesome. But yeah, I mean, with just kind of operating in different genres and working with the music community, especially, there's a lot of people in the songwriting community, in music space, especially in America, that have some kind of like history, or they grew up in the church, or some kind of familiarity with God, but are not like walking with Him. And they're using the gifts that they have, and just it's getting channeled in some interesting ways. So I love the creative community so much, and there've been some amazing opportunities because that songwriting room, when you're in the studio with a couple people and you're co-writing, obviously you want to create something that feels super authentic and honest. So naturally there's some vulnerable conversations that can happen, and just getting to know people over a period of time. So there have been some great ways just to connect with people that either don't know God or have a history with Him and just are in a different space. And then of course, on the other side of music, people that are listening to it, and with social media and stuff, there's been some cool opportunities to just talk with people on messages or comments or whatever platform possible, to talk about God or like the meaning behind the songs or pray for people. So yeah, it's quite wonderful.
I notice you're very connected to your fans, especially on Instagram. You do your weekly lives and let people interact, ask questions, and talk to them. And it was so cool that you're able to do that. And you recently put out something around your new song, Loyal, asking for people to, sort of send in their stories about loyalty that they've experienced and kind of share what that means to them. What kind of feedback did you get from that?
Yeah, well, I will say there have been some very faithful fans that embody loyal very well. And there's like a couple people that live in France. So when I do those lives, it's like 2 or 3 in the morning for them and they're still coming. So I greatly appreciate their dedication. But yeah, I mean, I'm so thankful for that song. And actually, I released a music video for that track. And as part of just kind of the celebration of it all, I put out, like, once we hit 20,000 views on the track, that I was going to host like a debrief session to kind of deep dive. I've never done that before, but kind of host like a Zoom call and invite people to share their stories and experience with friendships or relationships and kind of their story about loyalty. And I was going to handpick a couple of those stories to actually share on a Zoom call and have just kind of like add some depth to the conversation of that topic. So you've got the track to listen to, but also to just kind of like open up a dialogue with it. So I'm supposed to be doing that over the next couple of weeks. So I'm excited to see how that goes and actually have a conversation with a few people that have been listening to my music or feel like that song has impacted them. So yeah, I think that's going to be cool.
Well, we're looking forward to playing your track Loyal in just a second. But before we wrap up, I love hearing about the impact that your music has on people and what you have on people as an individual. You just spoken about people getting up early hours of the morning in France just to plug into you. But what is it ultimately that you would like people who listen to your music to take away when they listen to you? Especially in terms of maybe emotional impact, maybe spiritual impact. What do you want them to take away?
Yeah, that's an amazing question. And I definitely, just my goal always with the creativity that I have is that people would encounter the spirit of Jesus, whether it's a song that is talking about him directly or if it's something that is just talking about life. And I feel like it's really important for me to be honest about, like, in the songs talking about things that are real life, because people are dealing with some pretty heavy stuff and we're in an interesting time in the world. So I think it would be remiss to not talk about some things. But even in being honest, always kind of have that lens of hope because of the hope that we have in Jesus. So even if they're hearing a piece of a song, that they would just feel the presence of God, and that God is chasing people down, and that's a seed, whether I'm watering a seed or planting a seed, whatever that is, that people just encounter God's love for them through the creativity or through an interaction.
I think lots of people who are listening in right now are touched by what you've been saying in this interview. So we appreciate you, Svrcina. Thank you so much for taking time out of your morning to chat with us. You've got an incredible spirit. Keep doing what you're doing. And before you go, can you tell us live if you're coming to New Zealand or not?
You know what? That would be a dream. I feel you guys have the most amazing energy, and I don't know what the future is going to hold. I'm supposed to be coming back to Australia sure this year. I know. So let's just pray that includes plans to come in your direction.
Hey, well, it's a good start that at least you know the difference between the two. So thank you.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Just a heads up between us and you. Don't worry about Australia. Just come here. Just come here to New Zealand.
Just come on over.
Yeah.
I mean, we're already in that region.
Yeah.
That would be glorious. I know.
Again, thank you for your time, Svrcina. Take care and God bless. We love you.
God bless. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for chatting. We'll talk to you soon.
See you later. Cheers, Svrcina.
We'll see ya.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Appreciate it. Have a great rest of your day.
You too.
See ya.